This episode of Twin Speaks contains spoilers.
Remember when we were doing it at your house? Yeah. Like the one in Squamble? And there's like all those ones with Murphy in the background. It was literally like this stuff.
It was like pacing around or something, and
then we'd
she'd
be
like bark or something,
sitting on the couch, and then she would like come up and bring you a toy.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, just like fighting with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if you can hear that.
I don't know.
See you, buddy.
There was a kid on when I was at work today, and as we're walking back from the beach, they a couple of them pointed at this car. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's an Audi," and the kid goes, "No, it's an Audi." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I said. I said it's an Audi," and he's like, "No, it's an Audi." And I was like, "Audi," and he's looking at me, and he's like,
"Any."
He's like both hands up now. He's like, "Audi." And this kid's 6. And he's like, "It's an Audi." And I was like, "That is what I'm saying." And I was like, "It's an Audi." And this is we're walking towards the car, and this is as we're approaching the car, and then after we pass the car, and he's like, "Audi." And then now there's other kids that are involved, and they're like, "It's an Audi." And I'm like, no, I'm focusing on the kid that's being a smart ass. And he's just he's holding his hands up he's like, "Audi," as if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And then he starts giggling, and I'm like, I'm gonna smack you. I'm gonna drop kick this kid into the road. He was fucking with me for so long, and I just didn't think he was gonna do. I didn't know him very well. And I didn't think he was gonna be that sarcastic or facetious about it. And it was so funny afterwards that this kid just for 10 minutes was like, "No, it's Audi." And I was like,
"You're like, listen here."
I was like, "I ain't gonna strangle this kid."
Do you think then someone was messing with them before, and then
I think somebody
done that to him, and then turned around?
I think he heard me do it to a different kid, but not about Audi.
Audi.
Yeah, I didn't do it about Audi, and I didn't do it to that kid. I didn't think he was around because I've only seen this kid a couple times. But I definitely had messed with the other kid. Well, the kids are obsessed with Teslas.
Oh yeah,
and they love Teslas, and I think it's because most of their parents. Yeah, but it's because a lot of their parents, especially Oak Bay, a lot of them. Some of them have Teslas.
Shout out
to Oak Bay parents. And I'm not gonna badmouth them because they're all very nice. And I did that to a kid, and I was like, "No, it's pronounced Tesla," and he's like, "Tesla," and I was like, "No, you're not listening to me."
Tesla.
Yeah. And the kid looked at me as if he had a realization. Again, these kids are 6, and he's realizing that I'm fucking with him, and he turned around and walked away. And I was like, "No, we have to go this way." He's like, "That's fine, I'll walk to the beach."
Wasn't that just in that trailer for today?
What?
Where he's going what's the name that he's saying?
What trailer?
In the new PTA
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, you didn't?
I was out of school.
Oh, okay. There's a bit where he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And he's like, "Yeah." "Do you know who my girlfriend is?" And he goes, "Susan Sarandon." And he's like, "No, it's not even Susan Sarandon. It's Barbara Streisand." That's who it was. And he's like, "No, it's Streisand." He's like, "Yeah, Streisand." And he's like, "No, it's Streisand, like the beach, the sand." He's like, "Streisand." He's like, "Oh."
Oh, I love that. Even if it's not intentional.
Should we do a live watch of this? Because I didn't even finish watching it. I just watched it. Whoever it was Stereo Gum or someone had posted
IndieWire.
No, it was Stereo Gum because they posted a clip of it, and I watched the clip. So it wasn't the full thing.
Oops,
are you watching it?
Yeah, I started watching it. I didn't realize that one of the Heims from
They're
Heim
both
is
in it.
two of the
are,
three.
Yeah.
2 of the 3 Heims from Heim.
Isn't. Yeah,
Which
I think
one?
Danielle and
Baseface isn't in it.
Yeah.
But the other 2 are.
What's her name? Danielle?
I don't know.
No, Esty.
I don't know. All I know is them as Heim.
The only one I
know is the Baseface one.
In the movie.
Whoa. What's his face? Bradley Cooper's in this.
Yeah.
with
That's the
fucking weird hair.
That's the clip.
Oh, is it? Okay, hold on. I'll play it.
Streisand.
I'll play it.
You gotta play that to them.
I'm leading
Can
up
you do
to
that? Are we gonna do it?
Do you know who I am? Yeah. Do you know who my girlfriend is?
Barbara Streisand?
Barbara Streisand.
Sand.
Sand, yeah, like sands. Like the ocean, like
Barbara
beach.
Streisand?
No, like Streisand.
Sand.
the other defeat in his voice is like he's like Streisand.
That is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Is it really?
Yeah, Cooper Hoffman.
Cooper Hoffman, cool.
Mm-hmm. So him and
Kind of looks like Philip Seymour Hoffman from the back.
To like look up what her fucking name was. Now I've completely forgotten once again.
Sean
this
Penn's in
movie's-
this too.
Who?
Sean Penn.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of big names in it. Hold on, I'll make sure it's not gonna play on mine too. Oh yeah, did I say what the movie is called? Licorice Pizza.
Licorice
The new
Pizza.
Paul Thomas Anderson
Most people
joint.
get arrested.
Yeah, is out. The trailer just got released.
Oh,
today.
Ben Safdie.
Yeah, Ben Safdie, all of 1 second.
Just him standing.
Yeah.
Which probably. I hope that's just not a reflection of him ability to act. You know.
No, haven't you seen Good Time?
No.
Oh, really? Fuck, we
Why
should
does he
watch
play the
that.
brother?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's great.
This is so funny. He looked just like Philip Seymour Hoffman. Maya Rudolph's in this? Holy shit.
Yeah. The cast includes Tom Waits, Bradley Cooper, Sean Penn,
Tom
Benny
Waits is in this?
Safdie, Maya Rudolph, and more.
And more.
Yeah, there's a
I
shit
didn't
ton of
see
people.
and more.
Alana.
Did you hear what I said?
Haim.
Atlanta?
Alana. Don't shoot.
It's pretty funny. It looks good. It's like there's definitely a Paul Thomas Anderson aesthetic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It looks just like a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
I'm excited for it. I think it looks good.
When does it come out?
I think a lot of people were surprised that, because there's been like a lot of, there's been a lot of like
November 26th.
stuff about people not knowing who the mains were.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people knew that Alana Haim was in it, and then people knew that Cooper Hoffman was in it, and Bradley Cooper was in it, but then people didn't know who was the actual main cast. But this definitely is more. It's Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman.
It's weird that Tom Waits is in this.
Why is that weird?
I don't know. Tom Waits was in that movie with Adam Driver. Do you remember the alien zombie one? The Dead Don't Die. The Dead Don't Die.
Yeah.
And he was so fucking weird in that movie. I think I just like
That
movie
movie
was weird in general, but like
I think we hated that movie.
I hated that movie. I don't know.
I
don't
think
know
I
if
did
you
too.
too, but like
Because then it was all those like massive people in it, and then
it was so many
fucking it
big
just turned
actors, and
into,
then all of
like,
a sudden
a
you're like,
garbage.
okay, what's her face is a samurai alien robot or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that movie was garbage.
I'd
I
like to
was
watch-
listening to a review of it like recently, and they were like, "It's really good." I'm like, "No, it's not. I refuse
No, I
to
don't
believe
think
this
it
movie's good." It's one of those movies where it's so up its own ass that it like convinces you that it has to be good because there's no way this many people in a movie like this will be bad.
Yeah.
And it is riding so much off of that it is almost like too big to fail type thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
does, and it's terrible.
Dog shit. I thought that's what you were gonna say. You were lining up like your mouth.
I was really. I got stuck on the hard. And I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, duh.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Licorice Pizza. Don't know about that name.
It's hard to know when you watch a trailer and you don't listen to a trailer. I was like, maybe there's context. I don't know.
I could describe it. She's talking to the other Haim sister. Oh,
I don't want to hear you. We're not doing closed captioning.
She's
Describe
talking to
video,
the sister
sorry.
again. And
Stop!
running down the hall. Oh, so there's some police. She's running next to the cop car.
Did you?
Hey, Benny Safdie.
There was a video a friend of mine sent me, and it was like a skit about white guys doing podcasts, and it was just guys talking.
Oh yeah. What?
It was the same guy. Like, here, I'll show you it. But like, it's just Guys talking. Hey, I love guys talking. Can you listen to it? Oh.
I can't hear it. I'll leave this in.
I don't know why it's not playing.
This is amazing. Fuck yeah, man. See, that's the damn truth. You know,
Hold on.
let's listen to guys talking. Okay. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Guys Talking. All right, Guys Talking. Let's just guys, chopping it up as we know. Crazy. What's that, man?
We can cut all that out.
It's a lot of silence. That's fine.
That was so. Welcome back to Guys Talking. We're just chopping it up. You're crazy though. You're crazy. What, me? What we gotta say? I just want to get wet and wild. It's gonna be nonsense if you don't.
No, that's gonna be nonsense because now you're just repeating what we just watched.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna cut it out.
I inadvertently started
doing
it, thinking like, well, they'd want to hear what it is. They being the 5 people that download this podcast.
Oh, we have more than that.
7.
Hey, yo. If you're one of the 7, call in.
Shoot us an email. No, call in. Yes, call in right now in this non-live podcast. I'm going to give you Pat's phone number. It's 250-885. No, wait. 250.
You don't know my phone number.
448.
No.
I gotta look it up. Yeah, you're gonna push me the edge.
Don't look it up.
826
Oh, God.
233.
Hey, look.
And I'll leave the last number blank.
Could be one of 9.
It might be 1 through 6. It might start with an S and shoot Patrick a text.
Please don't.
Say what's up. I see you outside your window.
No.
Wow, the scooter looks cute today. Something like that.
Oh, you can say that. That's fine.
But you have to describe what Patrick is wearing.
Oh, I hear him walking around. Nice. I'm
Trying to change the subject. Shang Chi. It is a movie.
I told you. There he is. Hello.
Hey, nephew.
All right, see ya.
Why did you do that?
What a weirdo.
Shang Chi. Shut up.
Ah, yes. Shang-Chi. This is a movie.
It stars the actor from the first Spider-Man who yells at Peter Parker to do a backflip. No, do a backflip.
Is that guy's name Trevor?
Is it Trevor?
Trevor, yeah. He's like, hey guys, Trevor here.
Yeah. Live streaming the fight scene in the train or the bus.
I did some martial arts when I was a kid, so I will be live critiquing this. Okay, this is directed by Daniel Cretton. Probably pronouncing that wrong. I apologize.
To who?
He did Short Term 12, The Glass Castle, Just Mercy. Yeah, you sent me a list of
I didn't
the ones that he's done, and I did not recognize a lot of them.
Yeah, Just Mercy I've seen bits of.
He's also credited for
Jamie Foxx in it.
Was that fair?
It's got Jamie Foxx in it.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously what's his face? Michael B. Jordan.
This movie. What did you think of this? Broad strokes.
I liked it.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
What? Oh, okay. Anyways, email in to Twin Season.
I really like this. So that
why don't you
great.
read the? Or I guess if you're listening to this, you know who's in this. I liked it a lot. I think as a Marvel, we were saying this before. As a Marvel movie, this is a very non-Marvel movie. I mean, it's like pretty like copy and paste for some things, but I think as a like generality, like I think it's way more fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's less. I don't know how to describe. Like, what would be the word that you would use to describe this? Because like, it is a Marvel movie, and it does have aspects of that, and it is very like they as like an origin like. Yeah, he has like it's all very set up to be like, okay, he's a superhero. He has to go do this thing. He has to defend whoever, and then that's it. And then it leads into him joining a team. But it is way more fun. It's much more just like loose And like there is a lot of like magical elements in this that make it a lot more interesting and fun and like dynamic in a sense. And like the character development is great, and I really like all the leads in this. They're all really great. Even the villain, like his dad is so great. He's so good in this.
Awesome.
The like all the fight scenes in this are unreal. Like in a different way. Like I think Winter Soldier is so good in the sense that like it is like a choreographed, like all the fight scenes are very choreographed and it feels very like clean. Where this it feels
clean and tight.
Yeah,
it's,
and
everything's just very smooth.
This is that as well, but I think there is just like a different element to it. A little bit more like I keep saying fun, but it is more fun to watch.
I think this is very similar to obviously like all the other Marvel movies in the sense that they're all like filmed a very specific way that they're supposed to look similar to each other, and that is like even just like framing in a shot they have like a lot of control over. But I think in terms of like how the story goes from A to B, this one it is an origin story, but it's very brief.
Yeah.
Like what would you say that whole from the start like, to him being on the bus?
I think it felt like 10
hour?
Yeah, I mean it
doesn't feel that long.
Quick.
It feels like 15 minutes maybe, but
because like they go from him working.
Yep.
He's on the bus.
Yep.
After he meets up with her at her apartment.
Yeah.
They're on the bus and then he gets abducted or try to abduct him or steal the necklace or whatever it is. And that's kind of it.
Well, I'm talking about like from the beginning where it's like it's showing the dad.
Oh.
And he's like going through all that stuff, and then they meet the mom, and then the mom. That's like them as
that's
kids.
A bit longer. I think it's about 20 minutes, half hour, or something like that. It's a good chunk of the beginning of the movie.
But what I liked about that is how quick it was. It was like, anyway, here's like the dad, here's the mom.
I think also
here's how they meet, and then the kids, and then now it's like, oh, he's in current day.
The one thing about that though is that like it isn't like the Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man didn't really have an origin story, but like let's say like Captain America or Black Panther or something like that, where the origin isn't the origin of the character, it's like the origin of the like type of magic and stuff that they're like doing and whatnot. Like there's it's more of like a history lesson instead of being like an origin story, if that makes sense. There is it feels different, the two of them. Yeah. Like it's showing the dad in like ancient feudal whatever, and he has like this army and he's just conquering everything, and then it's kind of switches to him in this like forest and he's trying to find this kingdom and stuff like that. And it's like you're not getting the origin of Shang Chi, you're getting the origin of the dad. And it's not even his origin. It's just like an adventure that he did
pretty much
in like a brief period of time where he met the mom. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like origin necessarily in a film series that has done that to death.
But I think
and not badly necessarily, like oversaturated.
But I think it does that because this isn't necessarily a character that was on a lot of people's radars. It's not your Spider-Mans or your Captain Marvels or that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's like I think they had to figure out the good in between of being like, we need to, describe what happened, where this guy's even from, why he's the way that he is, but do that all quick enough that people are going to stay interested and not feel so like burnt out by the time that movie actually, quote unquote starts.
Yeah. I think as a character, like if you've ever been interested in say like Moon Knight or Daredevil or like Luke Cage or Iron Fist or anything like that, then you would know more about this as a character. Yep. And so like in my sort of like very limited knowledge of him, he is significantly different than what I sort of imagined this movie being like. Yeah. I imagined it being much more like street level, much more like Daredevil, where he like, because he doesn't have powers, but he's considered like a very like competent martial artist, like to the point where he's like best of the best, like best in the world. Yeah. Like kind of like how Like Batman is the best at what he does, or Daredevil is the best at, like, you know, like they're all the best at their thing. He's supposed to be the best at his thing without being overpowered, or superpowered rather. That isn't what this movie seems like.
No,
it's much different than that.
Yeah,
in a good way. It's less street level. It's less grounded. It's much more magical and like interesting, I would almost say.
Yeah.
Not because we don't know what the alternative would be, but this is much more like, I don't know. There's so much more that I want to know about this sort of like, everything going on. And I'm hoping that like Doctor Strange maybe leads into that. Not to like jump ahead, but there was that like post-credit scene. So like hopefully we do get sort of more of that.
Well, I think this is that. It reminded me more of a Doctor Strange than
definitely.
say like, I don't know, Captain America or something like that, where it was just like a fighting movie. You know, like they try and make some of the Captain America ones more into like a spy or some, you know, very loose definition of the spy movie kind of genre. But I think this does a really good job of doing that, towing the line between being like this sort of very mystical, very like interesting, very like almost like sci-fi sort of fantasy kind of movie, very similar to like what a Doctor Strange was in the past, but then being very grounded because he's like going through San Francisco and then he goes to China and then he's like on his dad's compound and stuff like that. But then they go to like this fucking crazy like mystical village,
hidden village, and
and then
with like
there's
dragons
like
and
random
unicorn looking things, and like a lot. It's basically it's like as if they took all these sort of like statues and sort of like traditional relics and stuff like that from that sort of like world or that part of the world. And we're like, okay, well, what if they're real?
Yeah, sure.
Because that's a lot of what it looks like. It's like those lion statues.
Yeah.
But if they were real, the like
unicorny
looking things, I don't know either. But like, and then the dragon, same thing, which I really like, because it did sort of like you want to see more of that.
And it's like I said, like it's a cool way of being grounded.
Yeah.
To sort of that kind of stuff. But man, like all the fighting in this movie.
So good.
It was so good. I was texting you before. Like, I think this is one of my new favorites.
Yeah.
Of definitely more the recent sort of Marvel movies because they are such like popcorn movies and like you know you just want to be able to watch something, not think too hard about it. I might have burped into the mic.
Gross.
I was talking as I was doing it.
Maybe not even notice.
They're like you know not background movies, but movies that you don't really have to have your brain on for. I think this is definitely one of my favorite ones. Yeah. Just because like the fighting in it was really cool. The extra stuff, you know, like the magic stuff that they were sort of doing was really neat. Like there's a dragon in this one. I thought that was sick. Also, like, I wasn't really expecting that too. I wasn't. Like all of a sudden it's there.
They talk a lot about it leading up to it, and they're like you kind of have an idea that there is something because they have all these like armor and weapons and things, and they're like, this is how we dealt with this before, or like and that's a combination. And like when they're kind of going earlier in the movie talking about how they push back this like nightmare demon thing, they said it was because of the help of the Great Protector or something. So you're like, okay, there is something, but you don't expect it to show up, and when it does you're like, fuck yeah, this is so sick. Because like how many other dragons do you see? You don't see any in any other Marvel movie except it's hinted at or shown the skeleton up in I just burped too. And in the Defenders.
Is it?
There's a skeleton of it under New York, and that's like the big thing they have to go in to like fight through.
Oh, crazy. Yeah. I never watched Defenders.
So like that's the only other hint at a dragon, which makes sense because like Iron Fist is supposed to have like he's supposed to punch the heart of the dragon or something. And maybe like that's the segue into some of these other characters. Like this does kind of open the door for like a lot of these cool like more mystical characters,
like your Iron Fist.
Though like a part of me thinks that they'll never do Iron Fist again. in the sense that he is a white character.
Yes. Traditionally not in the comics as a white guy.
No, he
is a white guy.
He's
yeah,
like always
that's
a white
right.
guy.
Yeah.
His name's Danny Rand.
Yes, that's right.
And so, like, he is traditionally a white guy who is in a sort of, like, I don't know, area that is not traditionally white. And it seems a lot like the creators of that comic were just like, let's just make him a white guy.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because, like, you have someone like Shang Chi who is that.
Yeah.
Without sort of the mystical dragon heart part of it. And did it 100 times better.
Yeah.
Like, if you put a mask on this guy and was like, he's Iron Fist, I'd have been like, fuck yeah, that's sick.
Cool.
Because it's like, it's everything you hoped Iron Fist would be.
Yeah.
But more interesting.
But also, like you were saying, like that sort of street level.
There are aspects of it in this.
Yeah, there is. But it does feel much different near the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Than that sort of street level, like you're saying, your Daredevils and your Iron Fists and stuff like that. Near the end of the movie, that whole sort of last half hour or whatever, the giant battle, and then he's like fighting the big demon thing, and then fighting his dad too. Like that whole bit is very much big and sort of more to the scale of like those Marvel movies and stuff.
Movie type thing, and like,
however, that last scene, or sort of like whatever sequence, was amazing. Honestly, it was like
him.
And
like,
there's a bit where he's like plummeting towards the thing, and he's just basically spinning around, and he's just like doing the hands thing.
Yeah,
I was like, this is so cool. This is like
very neat. I got so suckered into it. I feel like there's moments where you're watching that sort of like final fight scene, you're like, oh, it's a big gray monster.
Yeah.
And like they're all big gray monsters, but there are like bits of it that kind of keep you from checking out too much in it. And like I think that's what this movie does really well, is it kind of strings you along in a sense that like, oh no, it'll be like worth it, like just hang on, and then it is worth it, and then you go through another thing where you're like, oh, it's another big gray monster or there's like demons that don't seem to end or anything like that. And you're like, oh, this is boring, and then they're like, well, just hang on, it's going to get more interesting, and then it does. And like a lot of this movie is that.
Yes.
I still don't really understand the rings.
No. So that should we like that sort of ties into the last sort of the mid-credit scene or whatever, where they're sort of talking about them.
The rings seem like, I know that the rings are supposed to be somewhat linked to like a dragon or something in the comics, and they don't really ever say what it is or where they got it. He found it in a comet or a meteor strike or something.
That's what they say. Yeah. Well, no, because the rumor was
because they
kind
of go through a bunch of rumors and stuff.
Because then they're like, oh, he's over 1,000 years old. But
yeah.
The rumor or the story is that he dug them out of a comet that crashed the Earth or something. And then there was another one where because they just say a bunch of them.
Okay, so the comics are that the real Mandarin, who like, well, I guess that's who the dad is supposed to be. The 10 Rings of Power are actually the product of dragon-like race, the Axon Kar, or the Mulcullans, from the planet Mulclu 5. The Axon Kar utilize them mainly as a power source for their interstellar craft engines. So I thought it was something dragon-like, but not really like that.
Well, dragon-like creatures, is that what you said?
Yeah. But they don't ever really say that, or that it is that, or whatever it is. And like, that's fine, I think. It kind of leaves it ambiguous enough that like they can sort of come back to it. And it does at least sort of give that link to the mid-credit scene where it's Wong and Brie Larson and
Captain Marvel and Bruce
Ruffalo.
Banner,
all kind of like talking about it in a brief, non-specific way.
Yeah.
Which is cool because like it involves them in the larger Marvel thing, and like I think that's the whole thing. Is that,
well, yeah, because then the part of it they say is like, "Oh, welcome to the circus,"
so
or whatever.
They're
so
gonna
basically
be
welcoming to the Avengers.
Yeah, they're gonna be a new Avengers team. It's gonna look obviously a lot different than the last one.
Well, did you see the rumor was that I don't know, maybe that's a spoiler, but that Daredevil is in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it's the same with like. It's hard to know what's intentional as a rumor and what's not.
Yeah.
I think with him, he's like commented on it a few times, and like in the same way that kind of like Andrew Garfield has, where you're like you're in it.
Yeah. There's
But
been
it's
pictures
so hard
of
to
you in
know.
it, and he's like,
Yeah.
not to my knowledge.
Yeah. There was the Andrew Garfield one was funny because it was like a video of him on set as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And in it, you can clearly see like the edge of Tobey Maguire as well. And he goes on every late night talk show to be like, it's not me, which is like clearly a marketing tactic for this movie.
Yeah.
And then a deep fake video comes out and they're like, it wasn't him. And then somebody comes out with a second video to be like, well, that one's deep fake. And they deep faked a deep fake video. And then they removed it and they're like, no, see, it's him. And you're like, okay, this is him? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But yeah, I would love to see Charlie Cox as Daredevil. Well, I just love to see Daredevil in it.
I'd like to see him in something. He was cool as Daredevil, so it kind of
he was really
seems
great.
like a wasted opportunity.
It would also make sense too that he would be in the Spider-Man. Like you could tie it in easily.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for where this goes. I think
big time.
I really like this actor. I forgot what his name is now, but like,
well, I just looked
he
it up.
is so great. He just is like such a I don't know, like a Chris Evans type, you know, where like he just is very charismatic and captivating when he's on screen, and like you do kind of just want to watch everything he's on or doing. And Awkwafina's so great in this. The villain's so great. The sister also really great. I really liked her.
I'm gonna say this is
That's an ad.
I don't remember what the sister's name.
Oh, this is how you say his name.
Looking at how to pronounce the name of this Canadian actor, writer, and stuntman. If you want to know how to pronounce the name of the Marvel character, that is going to be in our native English, so to stay tuned.
This is way too much preamble.
Sing Liu.
All right.
Straightforward.
Simu Liu.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was Canadian. I mean, like, not. I knew that before this video, but like, I didn't realize that before that.
Well, he's from China, but yeah, he was in. He's basically
like,
from Canada.
He's done
too,
Corner Gas. He was in Kim's Convenience Shop too, or Convenience.
That's
Store.
what he was on the most. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. He was on Fresh Off the Boat.
He went to University of Western.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, Fresh Off the Boat was apparently really funny.
It is really funny. I've seen it. I've seen not like the most recent seasons, but like I've seen I think the first 3 or something like that. It is very funny. It's a very like Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah. He was in Orphan Black too. Another Canadian TV show.
Another Canadian Marvel actor too, because she's She-Hulk.
No, is she?
Yeah.
No, she's not.
Orphan Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tatiana.
Tatiana. She's. Yeah.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking maybe I missed that.
They like announced it early, and she came out and she's like, "I'm not She-Hulk," and then they announced it like again after that, or like it got leaked.
They
like,
love doing that,
Deadline leaked it or whatever.
Yeah. That's funny.
Anyways,
He is extremely charismatic.
oh yeah, very.
It is very easy to see why Marvel was like, "Yep, this is."
Or
Shang
get
Chi.
him for anything. Like
Yeah.
he could literally be anybody on this.
Yeah.
Like he's also like jacked. Like he's huge.
Did you get a little clip before the movie played? And he was like, "Oh, welcome back to Cineplex, Canada."
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And I was like, "Can we just play this over?"
Yeah.
a couple times?
It was so funny.
Where do you? So like the next Marvel movies, I had it up here.
But yeah, he was great. He was. I
So
really liked him.
do you think that this ties into any of the next ones? So the next one is Eternals. No, I don't think. I don't. Well, maybe I don't know. It's hard to
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
That one I could see potentially. Hawkeye probably not. Spider-Man likely not. Miss Marvel probably not. Doctor Strange
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Thor no. She-Hulk probably not. Black Panther probably not. The Marvels like maybe, I don't know. It's hard to know. It's really hard to know
Yeah, because I mean, like
because
in the
I
past,
don't
they just show
really
up
know. Yeah, and
in
like
each other's movies.
now they're kind of at that point where they're just like doing whatever the fuck they want with these movies. So like it's hard to know like what direction they're gonna go in. So, anything else you want to say?
I mean, yeah, I really liked all of the acting.
Oh, the acting's really great. I think as a
Um,
Marvel movie, sometimes some of these actors can kind of be hamstringed.
Yeah.
In a sense, I don't think that was really ever the case in this.
To be honest, I thought the best thing was that all of these actors
Yeah.
were so like fresh and
What did side note? What did you say, or what did you see? What did you think about seeing Abomination?
was that Abomination? Because he
Yeah.
has like the fins on his head and
It's supposed to be
everything.
Abomination, yeah.
Really?
It even looks like what's his face in one like the dude
Because
who
they did that
plays.
close up, and I was like, "Am I supposed to know who this is?"
Yeah, so Abomination is played by the dude who like was in that. What was that? It was like
He's the Coen Brothers' good buddy, right? Is that
Is
the
he?
same guy? I get
Tim
him-
Roth.
Who?
Tim Roth.
Ah,
Tarantino.
Huh?
He's in a bunch of Tarantino movies.
Is he?
Tim Roth?
No. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he is.
Again, I'm still thinking it's the other guy.
Reservoir Dogs, Hateful Eight, Pulp Fiction. Anyways,
Yeah.
Tim Roth, when they do a close up of the Abomination face, it like clearly looks like they've CGI'd on a face of Tim Roth.
You know who I'm thinking of? He was also in a Hulk movie as Mr. Blue. Do you remember? Might have been the fucking first one. Not the first one. The one with Ed Norton.
Right.
And it was like he was Mr. Blue. He was like the other guy that Ed Norton was talking to.
Tim Blake Nelson.
That's who I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So that is Abomination.
Yeah, it was kind of what threw me off was that he's like Benedict Wong and him are like going back. So are they like fixing fights? Like I don't know. Like is he
Yeah,
trying to
because
make
then
some
he's
money?
like, "Oh, let's go," or whatever.
Yeah, because like don't lean into those punches. I don't remember what he said, but like something about pulling punches maybe. But like I'm curious on what that was about.
I didn't think it was him. He didn't.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I think it is him.
That's
Supposed to be him.
crazy. That was kind of neat though.
Yeah.
They showed them. I thought the sister was sick. She was really cool.
Yeah.
Does she have like a major role in sort of?
I don't really know. I'm not sure.
It's tough to know.
I haven't read a lot of comics in a while, and like again, he was only like a side character in some of the Daredevil stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm not 100% sure. Her character is Liko Wu. I don't know. Anyways, what would you give this if there's anything else you want to talk about?
I was gonna say I like the music.
Yes, the music's really good.
I don't know. It wasn't really anything sort of specific. I just thought the vibe of the music definitely fit the movie really well. I think everything about this movie was very cohesive. Between like the acting and sort of, everybody's roles in the movies. I don't think anybody stood out too much as being like, oh, they shouldn't be in this role or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
agree
everybody
with
was just very well cast.
The only one that I think that is Wong.
Yeah.
Anytime he showed up, I was like, "That's Wong." That's
Yeah, it
Benedict
was almost
Wong.
surprising to see him. I think I didn't even know that he was in this movie too, and then it was still surprising.
I didn't
that he was
know
there.
he was in it. So, but like every time he showed up, I was like, "Oh, that's Wong."
But even like the guy who brings them into the fights when they go to the sister's place, and he's got like the mohawk.
He's an Australian comedian.
Yes.
Australian Chinese comedian.
Fuck, and I know his name too, and I was like, oh, that
He's
guy's
the
really
one
funny.
that some of the guys from Filthy Casuals or like just the Australian comedy scene all seem to know.
Yeah. Fucking, I do not remember what his name is. I thought Tony Leung was really cool too.
He's so good. I loved him. He was so great.
He was amazing, honestly.
Yeah, he's really great. Ronnie. I don't know how to say his last name.
Chung. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's been on like what's it called a bunch of times.
He's a Malaysian comedian. I'm sorry.
Little Dum Dum Club.
Yes.
Yeah, Tony Leung. If Simu Liu, it wasn't in this movie, Tony Leung would have been the next best part.
Yeah.
Like he was so good.
He was so great.
In all the fight scenes and stuff,
He's not,
but then
but
all,
he's he's the type of villain when you're like, you don't really buy that he's a villain. You're kind of like, oh, he's like kind of seems like a good guy at the same time. But that's like maybe what makes him a good villain is that he's kind of convincing.
Well, that's what George and I were talking about it too, and it's like he had one of the most interesting sort of parts of the whole movie is because he was this guy who's just obsessed with like dominating the world basically, and had the means to do it, and then he meets her, their mom, and then sort of changes how he sort of even like interprets the world that because he's sort of one-track mind, and then it's so interesting because then he's just like he changes into, and it's not for show, he legitimately is changing into this guy who's like just wants to be with his family and has the army but is more focused on like training the kids and making sure that they're sort of
the one thing I wish that they would have maybe done more with that is like, because he's supposed to be immortal when he has the rings, but then he takes the rings off. I kind of wish that maybe he would age more because like the kid is like 8 maybe 10 by the time that like the mom dies, so like you think that over the course of that
I think they say he's 6. I can't remember now.
The son?
I think they specifically say that he's 6.
So
6,
like
sorry.
he might have aged at least like a little bit, but like he doesn't appear to age at all.
I was kind of confused about that.
I don't really know,
because then does that mean Shang Chi's gonna be immortal as well?
I don't.
While he's
now that he has the rings, potentially,
I don't know. I thought he was like fantastic, but like his whole arc was, and then the mom dies, and he like doesn't know how to deal with the grief, and so he's like sort of wants to go back to doing what he was doing before because then he's convinced that she's behind there, and it was, I thought his whole thing, and then you feel bad for him too, like you have sort of a lot of empathy for him because you can tell that it's all how he's dealing with grief, but they've sort of magnified it into this like he's like
he's
a
having
powerful
almost
guy.
like a psychotic episode with the like, hearing the rings and stuff, but he's had them for so long that.
But then even like where he's like telling them about this map and stuff, and they're sort of looking at him, and they're kind of going like, "She's not there."
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really liked this movie. I thought it was really good.
It was great.
Definitely one of my favorites in
the last
little while. Especially with Marvel movies. Like.
Yeah, I think so too. And in a type of film that is getting very oversaturated over the last couple of years, it'll be interesting to see how these movies follow it up. Yeah, because like they're all sort of like non-traditional Marvel movies, except for like sprinklings of like Hawkeye and Spider-Man.
And your Thor and
But even then, it's supposed to be different, right? Like so, who knows? I'm excited.
I'm excited to watch this one again. I think, to be honest. I don't know. What would I give it? A 7. I really liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I had a lot of fun with it. It's just a fun movie.
It is.
Obviously, it's not like doesn't have a lot of depth, but I think the depth that is there is interesting. Interesting enough to carry the entire movie. Acting was great. Music was great.
No, I agree.
There was a few times where it was glaringly obvious that they were standing in front of a green screen.
In the village or whatever.
Yes, they come walking out of the Jeep, and I was like, the grass isn't moving.
or when he's standing in front of the giant gray wall.
Yeah.
There's bad bits.
There's a few bits where, but then it's sort of, you kind of just, it blinds in and you don't even notice it.
Same. So as far as like next movie to review. We can kind of pick, like, there's not much that the lead has done, so we can't really do him. Awkwafina's obviously been in some, like, insanely good movies in the last couple of years.
We could do a Tony Leung movie.
We could do a Tony Leung movie.
That would be
because,
sick.
Like, the only other one is Just Mercy, but, like, not him, sorry.
Yeah, the director.
Yeah.
Because, like, man, he, what was that movie called? Something to do with love. What was it? Whoever's made it this far is definitely yelling at me for not knowing.
Yeah, you've been bad with names.
Chungking Express is apparently great.
Okay.
I have heard that one is very, very good. Oh man, what the fuck is it called? Anyway, whatever. Maybe we'll do a Tony Leung movie because he's got a shit ton of movies,
Yeah, probably.
and apparently a lot of them are really great. So I've been reading some of the stuff on like Letterboxd and stuff. He's got a bunch of really well-reviewed movies and movies that people hold really highly. So
Maybe we'll
that's
put
what we should-
a poll up on the three, like the director, Aquafina, or Tony Young, and we'll pick one of them.
Oh yeah.
To,
We'll
like,
post
watch
about it
something.
on Instagram because we were doing that before. People were actually
Yeah.
engaging with it and stuff like that. So,
Sweet.
but yeah, I'd say 7.
Yeah.
I really liked that. That was
Yeah, me
great.
too.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, if you would like to see any movies or anything like that, send them along.
Yeah.
If there's somebody that we should, like an actor or something that we should watch 2 movies of, or a director or something like that, writer, also send them along on
'Cause
Instagram, on Twitter,
Yeah.
at Twin Speaks Pod.
Because we're kind of doing new-ish movies.
But we're also like Dawn of the Dead. We want to watch like an older one as well. We
Yeah.
want to kind of do both because I think when we were doing it before,
It was only new movies.
yeah, it was only new movies, but we also found that like watching some older ones was also more interesting to us too. So we're gonna try and stick to that and doing one new, one old, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if there's any suggestions, send them along.
Send them along. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.